The Boston Celtics might have just gotten some good news and some bad news surrounding Jimmy Butler's trade talks in the NBA. Obviously, there have been recent reports that Jimmy wants out of Miami. Where he ends up, that could be bad. But the good news is, you'll have to wait and find out. Welcome to Celtics Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Allie Barefoot. And before we jump into any of the news that is now currently surrounding the NBA, honestly just flooding the NBA, I want to get you guys to go ahead and do one thing for me. Go ahead and hit that sub button for me. Why? Because we made almost 2,000 new subscribers in October. We had over 2,000 new subscribers in November. In December, we were almost at 500. So if you guys want to go ahead, join over 40,000 Boston Celtics fans right here on this channel. Any news, rumors, live games, we go live for it all. And we are completely free. So if you guys haven't already, go on ahead and subscribe for me. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the latest report here about Jimmy Butler. Charania did tweet out that the Heat are open to listening to offers for Butler and making a deal if the proposal is right. League sources told ESPN and Butler's agent, Bernie Lee, has indicated in league circles that Butler is open to destinations as two of the Texas teams, Houston Rockets and Dallas Mavericks, and the Golden State Warriors. Butler, of course, is a native of Houston, Texas. Above all, though, he is believed to prefer a win-now title contender in a trade. And when I think of a win-now title contender, I think there are really only three teams that do kind of fit that, and it's the Golden State Warriors because they have Steph Curry. It is the Dallas Mavericks because they more recently just went to the NBA Finals. But it's not the Houston Rockets. I mean, if I'm talking about win-now contenders that need somebody, I mean, you could maybe put the Oklahoma City Thunder in there. The Denver Nuggets are starting to fall apart a little bit. Maybe even the Milwaukee Bucks. But these are the three teams that are interested right now. And Jimmy Butler is also interested in as well, a.k.a. he would like to go play for some of these teams. Now, Jimmy Butler obviously has been a phenomenal player on every team that he has played for so far in the NBA. But the last couple of years, he hasn't really found his stride this season with the Miami Heat. But anybody that does end up picking up Jimmy Butler, they're going to have a phenomenal player. I mean, this is a future Hall of Famer in my opinion. Right now, and like I said, he hasn't even hit his stride yet in this season. He's only played 17 games. The reason why I say he hasn't hit his stride yet is because I just don't think he's happy in Miami. Almost 20 points a game, 5 boards, 55% from the field, 36% from the three-point line. When you look at his stats from last year, about 20 points per game. He was a much better three-point shooter, but he is currently getting better. But he is also, up there a little bit in age, so he obviously wants to play for a win-now title contender because he only has a few more years left in the NBA, in my opinion, kind of moving along with those greats like Steph Curry, like LeBron James. So, Allie, we're talking about Celtics Today by Chat Sports. Why does this have to pertain to Boston at all? Well, what is the good news and the bad news? In my opinion, I do think that everything surrounding Jimmy Butler, the good news is the Boston Celtics won't have to play him multiple times in a season anymore. If Jimmy Butler goes to the Dallas Mavericks, the Houston Rockets, or the Golden State Warriors, he is no longer in the NBA Eastern Conference, which is the good news for Boston. We know it has been a reoccurring event every single year that Jimmy Butler either comes to Boston or we go to Miami, and it's kind of a repeat of that 2022-23 NBA Finals, Eastern Conference Finals. So, yes, it is a little bit of a rivalry now. So if you do have a player like Jimmy leave, I think that rivalry kind of just plummets. But Jimmy, obviously, he has been a Celtic killer in the past, especially with the Miami Heat. He has played 11 games with the Miami Heat against the Boston Celtics, and I do think that more recently the rivalry has grown just because of that Eastern Conference Finals, but I think if Jimmy leaves, there's no more rivalry, in my opinion, at least moving forward, because the only thing that's allowing the Miami Heat to compete right now with the Boston Celtics is Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. Yes, of course they have Hero. Yes, of course they have Duncan Robinson and other players as well. But when I think of Miami Heat versus Boston Celtics, it's Jimmy versus Jayson. It's Bam versus Jaylen. And when Jimmy leaves, I think we have the upper hand on that. So that's possibly the good news of this all, is that we may no longer have to face Jimmy Butler multiple times in a season. And no doubt this rivalry comes back to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, you've seen it. Grant Williams, Jimmy Butler, they butt heads. You more recently had Duncan Robinson butting heads with the Boston Celtics players. So, yes, a little of that will still be in fruition. But without Jimmy, I think the Miami Heat completely fall apart. I think that they rebuild. I think they now should start, if they do trade away Jimmy, I think they should now start building around a Jaime Jaquez Jr.-esque type of team. Not so much a Jimmy Butler type of team. But Allie, you said there was bad news as well. Well, we're going to get to that in just a moment. Coming up next, I'm going to break down the bad news of a Jimmy Butler trade and how this does affect the Boston Celtics. But before I jump into that, I do want to tell you guys about our sponsor here on Celtics Today by Chat Sports. Let me tell you guys about PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. If you guys love testing out your skills and how much you know ball, then PrizePicks is the app for you. You guys can go ahead and make your holidays bigger and brighter, as PrizePicks is now giving away 2 free picks throughout the month of December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. You sign up today, you get $50 instantly. When you play $5, you don't even need to win that $5 entry to get the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts and select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value to your lineup. So, Allie, how do you play? It's super easy. All you guys have to do is just pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and you can win up to 200 times your money now. That's right, 200 times. All you guys have to do is download the PrizePicks app, use promo code CLNS. This will give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the PrizePicks app, use promo code CLNS. This will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. I forgot to ask you guys this. I am self-producing here. Do you want Jimmy Butler out of the NBA Eastern Conference? Go on ahead and spam buy in the comment section if you do. I mean, I think that helps the Boston Celtics chances a lot more. But I will admit that I'm going to miss Jimmy in a Heat uniform if he does get traded. Something about the button heads, it adds a little bit more flair to the games, but it will definitely be easier. That is for sure. So let's go on ahead. I promise you I do have some bad news to get to. So let's go on ahead and jump in here to what Charania had to say about possibly Jimmy Butler heading to a team that could be a little bit tough for Boston to take on with Butler added to their roster. Shams said, sources said the Warriors are looking to add a star playmaker, a playmaker scorer, alongside Steph Curry and Draymond Green. A telltale moment happened for the Warriors on Friday night when Curry, Green, and Coach Steve Kerr spoke about this. Being fourth year for Jonathan Kuminga's time to take a mantle, and Green accepted a bench role for Kuminga to start at power forward. I don't believe any of this. I really don't. Because when you look at the teams that are interested, I mean, in my opinion, I think Jimmy should go to the Warriors. I think this makes the most sense for Jimmy Butler, who wants to win right now. And honestly, a team with Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, I think, would be awesome. Not for a Boston Celtics fan, but just for an NBA fan. But you're telling me all of a sudden Jonathan Kuminga is the missing piece for the Golden State Warriors? Kuminga, who can't shoot to save his life? Kuminga, who has been up and down and up and down in the Warriors franchise for the last couple of years. And now all of a sudden you have Draymond Green volunteering to sit on the bench? No. What they're doing is they're marketing Kuminga. They're saying, look, we'll trade you a starter. We'll trade you a starter, Jonathan Kuminga. He started for us this last week. That's kind of how this is going. So it's making me think if the Warriors are now all of a sudden, you got Curry, and Green saying, hey, Kuminga, he's legit. Kuminga's our guy. Other people are going to start believing it, and it's going to seem like more of an asset to go out there and get somebody like Jimmy Butler. And there is no surprise here that the 2 top trade targets for the Golden State Warriors have been LeBron James and now Jimmy Butler, who are interested in going out and getting the Heat prodigy. And let's be honest, yeah, this was fun to talk about in the offseason, but now that LeBron has Bronny James on the team, I don't see him offering to leave the Lakers anytime soon, whereas Butler is like, get me out of here. I want to go play for somebody else. So if they can't get LeBron, they're definitely going to go and try and get somebody that's going to help them win games, especially since the Golden State Warriors right now are on a huge time crunch with Steph Curry. They want to win another championship with Steph Curry. This is why they got rid of Clay. This is why they're now rebranding. This is why they have to have a win-now contender right now. But as a Boston Celtics fan, this is where the bad news comes in. I don't want Jimmy Butler on the Golden State Warriors. We already lost to the Warriors in a regular season game. Granted, we didn't have Kristaps Porzingis, and I know it's just a regular season game too, but the Warriors beat the Boston Celtics in the 2022 NBA Finals. The Warriors are now somebody to watch in the postseason. As long as Steph Curry is on the Warriors, you need to watch them in the postseason. If you add somebody like Butler, I think that it's one of those Devontae Adams-esque things. He doesn't really show up for the Raiders, and he gets traded to the Jets, and he becomes their top target. I think Butler just automatically improves the Warriors, and Jimmy will start to play the way that he has before. He's not right now because he clearly doesn't want to be in a Miami Heat uniform. And we already know the Golden State Warriors, they're missing a piece. And let me tell you, it's not Jonathan Kuminga. They're missing that piece to help them get that ring. They wanted it to be Clay last year the way that he was a few years ago, but Clay is washed, so now they sent him to Dallas. What about Jimmy Butler comes to the Golden State Warriors? It's now going to be a lot harder in a 7-game series for Boston, in my opinion. Do I think this makes him an absolute contender and raise the Vegas odds? No. I don't, but it will be a little bit tougher to take down your Eastern Conference rival now with the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry, if that is where Jimmy Butler does end up landing. This isn't for sure. He could end up going to the Rockets. He could end up going to the Mavericks, or he could end up going to a team that's not currently listed in the Jimmy Butler trade rumors. But if he does make it to Golden State, it would be a very scary finals matchup. Do I think Boston will still win? Yes. But it does increase the Golden State Warriors' statistics, their chances to win, their chances to find themselves in the NBA Finals while Steph Curry is still playing in the NBA. So I have one last question for you guys here, and this does have to revolve around the NBA Finals, which is many, many months away. Does Jimmy Butler on the Golden State Warriors scare you? Type Y for yes, type N for no in the comment section down below. It does scare me, but not to the sense where I'm like, oh, crap. We might as well not play another basketball game this year. It just puts me on a more of an alert, if you will. Go on ahead, let me know in the comment section down below. As always, we're trying to reach 43,000 subscribers, so if you guys haven't already, go on ahead, hit that sub button.